Okay, hi. Well, we're gonna end with a little Q&A. If you want to ask me anything, you can. Or if you don't want to ask me anything, we'll take a picture and send you all home. That's what I thought. You're a pretty quiet, polite group, but you don't have to be. Now's your chance. You can ask me anything you want, except how much I weigh. I'm just kidding. Yeah, Faith. Yeah, and then you can go next, friend.
I have a question. Like you were saying, we perform here for a weekend, and then on Broadway it's 8 shows a week.
Yes.
I really want to know, from your point of view, what vocal standard that what
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
maintain your voice. Because I know it's a lot of don't talk on vocal rest, but then sometimes I find when I'm non vocal rest and I'm talking for the duration of the day, it's better.
Yeah.
So I would love to know what you mean.
Yeah, what I'm going to say to you is your instinct is right on. Because again, our bodies are all super, super different. And you know how some people naturally, I always equate it to like friends who aren't necessarily dancers, but they can like kick their head with no problem, or have super flexible hips. Their turnout is like super easy. And for other ballerinas who have been training their whole life, they're like, I hate you, I can't, you know what I mean? And so our chords are the same. There's some people whose voices naturally sit very high, and it's easier to sing higher than some people. And that's why we have basses, baritones, tenors, that's where all of that is. And so early on in my career in New York, I made the mistake of listening to what another actress did that was beneficial to them, which was not talk all day and warm up right before the show and then do the show, and this was Wicked. And I crashed and burned in front of everybody during Wizard and I, and it was first song out the gate for Elphaba. Really hard to get them back on my side after that. No, just kidding. But yeah, I quickly, my voice was like, I'm so sorry. What do you think you're doing? We've been chilling all day. Why are you trying to go 0 to 60 out the gate and I haven't even warmed up the car? So for me, I found that my voice works better to warm up a little bit throughout the day, and then right before the show I check certain areas of my voice. It also depends on the role. Each role requires something different of your instrument, and so there are basics that are fundamentals for everybody, which are hydration and sleep. And especially the older you get, the more important those are. Also knowing what your body responds to, if you start to travel more, for allergies and dry environments, humid environments, and such. But I encourage you to just get to know your instrument and know it, and not let anyone really. Over the years, it's like I encourage you to try everything. Maybe not in front of an audience like I did, but try everything so that you can continue to just, I say to just add it to your bag of tricks. You'll just keep gathering information. Oh, this really worked for me. I'm so happy that worked for you. Doesn't really work for me, but you do you. You know what I'm saying? And so besides those basics, it really is up to you in getting to know how your voice works and what it needs. The older I get, the more I'm like, oh, I also need to move my body during the day. I need to go on a walk, or just make sure my heart rate is up to a certain extent so that my body is also connected, and my breath support, and all of that kind of stuff. But yeah, I don't want to crush your dreams. 8 shows a week is actually, working in the theater in New York on Broadway is the most blue collar job that you can have in the entertainment industry. Really. It's not glamorous. It's not easy. And it's very, very hard. But there are things that are worth it, and the more that you, if you're lucky enough to have multiple experiences, the more you know what you will stand for and what you will accept and what is worth it for you. You know, for me in my career at this moment, it costs me too much to continue to do that, and it will take something very special for me to go back to pursuing 8 shows a week, because it just is so hard, emotionally, spiritually, physically, and living in New York on top of it is also very, very hard. But it's also beautiful. It's also lovely. It also pays off in so many beautiful ways. So it's both. Don't cry. But I am going to tell you the truth. Just kidding. I mean, about the crying. I am going to tell you the truth. I'm not kidding about that. Cool. I just shut the room down. Amazing. Okay. No, just kidding. Anyone else? Yeah. Oh, yeah, you were next. I'm sorry, friend. Go. Can you go next? I'm going to have him go. Yeah.
So this was like kind of a bit multifaceted.
Yeah.
But like obviously like you play this like huge role in Upper like after like demons out like she's trying to be so like you have these like legends that like you had do not meet up, but like there were expectations of audience members when you were performing.
Mm-hmm.
How did you like have the courage and just like how did you like meet the standards of what you want, do more, and also like satisfy yourself as a performer? And then also along the same lines, like sorry, I've been totally like
You don't have to be sorry.
I'm like overwhelmed.
You're fine.
How do you just like do that, but also like go home every day and then just like be a human? I don't know.
Yeah. Very good questions. So I think that
I
that's
think it's like easier for you. I feel like
no, you're fine. This is great.
how do you also balance the lines?
You're not. Don't be embarrassed. I have the answers to your, unless you don't want to hear that and you have a new question. Okay.
Eden,
I understand.
When I announced that you were coming here, like, he was sitting in class and he's like, she's my favorite alphabet.
Thank you. It means the world to me. All these years later, I still. Yeah. I love that. It's with Seth Rudetsky, right? It's with Seth Rudetsky, right? Yeah. Okay, so, I mean, the truth is, you know, when I was a standby for Idina Menzel in the original company of Wicked. And then I went on to do the role for a contract every year for 7 years. And, you know, when you're a standby, it's a very thankless job because you don't get reviews, you don't get, you know, you're not eligible for any award or nomination, but you kind of like save the show when it's in trouble. Being a standby for everybody is basically you're paid to do exactly that. You don't perform the show every night. An understudy has another track in the role in the show, and then they also cover a lead. A standby is paid to literally be in the building in case something happens during the show. You're the first to go on if they are on a vacation or if they're called out sick. And so when you're a standby, you know, you can't completely make the show your own. You don't have to do a carbon copy of that person, but there are certain things, certain timing things that the cast is used to, and you have to make, it's a well-oiled machine. So, you know, I didn't have a lot of freedom, and I would get a talking to every now and then, especially in vocal things, because that role was tailor-made for Idina's voice. And like, again, what I was saying earlier is like her voice, her sweet spot for things is the bane of my existence. Like, you know, her sweet spot is my break. And so Wizard and I was like the hardest song in the show for me, but Defying Gravity, No Good Deed were like a breeze because my voice just sat higher naturally. But I had to be reminded when I took over the role that I was allowed, they had to, Eden, you're not the standby anymore. Like you can make it your own. And if you're fortunate enough to work with a creative team that trusts you to make it your own, that is a gift beyond all measure. And so it's important, again, for you to know that your version is what makes you unique. You're not going to please everybody. What's awesome about Wicked being around for as long as it is like everybody does have their favorite. And we're equally as amazing, but we are very different. And so that's why it's like, oh no, I'm a Lindsay Mendez stan. I'm a Eden stan. I love Shoshana Bean. I love, Hannah Corneau. Like that, because we each have it filters through a new brain, a new heart, a new spirit every time. So I just encourage you to, again, what I was saying to Kyle, yes, to filter through to say, like, how does this make me feel? I remember I was, when I was a standby, I was 25, and I remember the original Fiero, Norbert, telling me, your Act 1 alphabet is particularly heartbreaking. And I knew why he said that is because I had a lot of bullying moments similar to Alphaba, where people would play, oh, we're gonna all dress up this way tomorrow at school, and I would come the only person in costume and everyone would be I had visceral moments of that, and so I knew what it felt like. And so, the other stuff, the Act 2 stuff, the romantic, more loving things I didn't know as much about, but the heartbreak I knew a lot about. So, it's interesting because that's the cool thing about acting, that's the cool thing about being true to yourself and knowing that what I have to offer is enough and unique. And again, that's what's, if we're all being true to ourselves and I go around again and be like, what are you like when you're mad? What do you like when you're mad? Hopefully now you're gonna think about it and be like, oh, actually when I'm mad, I do this. That's when I start to call musical theater acting where everybody does the same thing. You know what I mean? Because we think that we're supposed to do that. But anyway, did I answer your question? I'll talk about rambling on. Are you sure? Okay, next. Oh, friend, back there.
What keeps you grounded when things get overwhelming? Because I know you work the 8 shows and it's life happens and you wake up and you're just in your head that day. It's family problems, friend problems, financial problems. How do you not when you're on the stage when you're about to sing a song and you're oh, I've got this, and then when you actually see everything, you're this is actually happening. How do you get yourself into a calm state?
Yes. As far as the stage stuff is concerned, reminding myself these are real events happening to real people right now, even though it's make-believe. But that helps me be true to the story because for the audience, it's their first time hearing these words. It's their first time seeing this story. And so that helps me stay grounded and present when I'm on stage. When I'm off stage, my faith is a huge part of that. And as I've grown and evolved and had my own relationship with God rather than the one that I thought I was supposed to have, and in truth be told, deconstructing a lot of things about Christianity, especially in today's country and today's time. The truth of the matter is the source of all of us is love. God is love and loves every single person as they are. And that is something that just knowing that I'm gonna be okay. even if something doesn't turn out the way I want it to be, even if I have a disappointment, even if I got divorced from my husband, even if I, have a sparse year and I don't own a home or have the amount in my bank account that I want to, I know all the time my hands are open and I was like, God, what do you have to teach me? Not why is this happening to me? Because everything that happens is for your highest good and to bring you closer to that love. And that's how I get through moments. My community of friends, my family, and vulnerability is key. Something that I've learned to not be okay it's okay to not be okay. It's okay to admit that you're scared. It's okay to admit you don't know what you're doing. It's okay to admit that I'm disappointed or sad or any of those things, because I think a lot of times, especially the older we get, we start to just be in survival mode, and we start to. It's funny, I read something on the internet the other day where it was like, I don't like it when people say that rainy days are bad weather, because some people love rainy days, or it forces us to slow down and have a day where we just get cozy and not worry about, so the ups and downs of life, they're equal in importance and value to our development as humans and in our relationship to God and to others. And the last thing I'll say is that I really believe that I'm in the service industry, that what I do is a gift and an act of service, and it's my calling. And so that helps me put perspective on how it looks, the achievements that don't or do come, helps me, in the high highs keep it level, and the low lows bring me up to that level, because it's bigger than me. It's bigger than my ego. It's bigger than feeling, like I had a bad show. Because the countless time, I'm never gonna forget the first time I had a terrible show. And I didn't want to go out the stage door. I was crying after the show because I was so humiliated. And for some reason, my dresser was like, just go out, they're waiting out there and da-da-da-da. And I went out, and the people, what they said to me helped me. That's the first time that it shifted my perspective to go, you really thought that? You were that moved? When I thought it was literally like, I am ruined. No one's ever gonna, you know what I mean? It's just, our ego gets so ahead of us, but it's bigger than us. So, that's what I have to say. Yeah. Okay. The things that I like to think about before I go in is that obviously getting the job is what we want, okay? But the truth about the industry is it's a numbers game. And you're not gonna get the majority of auditions that you go on. It's not because you're not talented, it's not because you didn't do well in the room, it's just a numbers game. If you're looking to replace somebody, it could be you're too tall for the costumes that are already built, and they don't want to buy. They don't want to spend the money to make you all new costumes. It could be that you reminded that director of his ex-wife, and you don't want. You know what I mean? He's like, no. It could be a million things that have nothing to do with you, and so I like to say to myself, my only job today is to show them who I am, not what I can do. Who I am, and to shift the frequency in the room. They've been sitting behind that table all day. So the more that you can just be yourself, to know like, I'm just here to bless you today with my gift. And if I get the job, amazing. And more often than not, like they see people so nervous and not having a hold of their voice, and because that's only natural. But if you let yourself off the hook, and then like I've been telling you all night, like that is a skill, and you'll be able to let it go, because what's meant for you will not pass you by. Period. End of story. And if it's meant to be in your life, it will. That also helps me go, oh, okay, wasn't meant, there's something else. And it's super cool when you find out what that is, And so, yeah, I just, the things that I've been talking to you about today also help me. It's a mind trick. So our mind is very, very powerful. So we have to just get our mind on our side. And if that takes making a music video for yourself and imagining that you're in a different location than where you are, it's just makes it more fun. Cool. Yes.
I was gonna ask the same question.
Yes.
Okay, we're gonna short now.
No. I was just checking. She wanted everyone home by a certain time. Oh, we're still pretty okay.
It's 8:30.
Okay.
So, last question.
Okay.
I don't have a question. My mom was middle school too. She was nerding out. She would keep being like, oh my God, she would watch some movies. I'm like, yeah. I was middle school with her.
Oh my
She
gosh.
was texting me right before. She's like, have so much fun until I said hi, haha, just kidding.
Oh my God. No, but you have to tell me now.
I'm gonna call her out.
Was it Yorba?
Middle school.
Okay.
Sharon Burns.
Oh my gosh, yes! I remember Sharon! Oh my God! Tell her I said hi, not just kidding. We'll have to take a picture to show her. Oh my God. But you were behind.
What's the best thing you got out of all the time you've taken out of your career doing shows? What's the best thing you've taken from doing that into your
Say it again.
what's the best thing that you took from all the shows that you did and all the time that you took and brought it back into your actual daily life?
You know what I think? Oh, that's a good question. Wow, no one's ever asked me that before. I think today, in retrospect, today at 47, that I think I can look back and be super proud. I think what I've learned and learning is like it's okay to take pride and to not be boastful, but to be like, yeah, I did that and that and that too. Do you know what I mean? Because it's we need to be our own cheerleader, because if we're not on our own side, like then not everyone is going to be. And so it's been important over the years for me to look even at moments that I thought were failures, to look at them and be grateful for them and be grateful for what they taught me, but also grateful for my part in it. Does that make sense? Yeah. Thank you guys so much for being here tonight. I know it's a school night. I know it's late. Thank you for being flexible with the date. I totally forgot that I had tickets to see my bestie, Shoshana, in Carnegie Hall, and I was like, so thank you. I couldn't miss that. And I forgot. I was like, yeah, I can do the 3rd. Oh, wait a minute, Megan, I can't do the 3rd. I messed up on my schedule. Anyway, this is such a beautiful group of hearts and spirits and talent. So just thank you so much for being here with me today. And yeah, do you want to take a group break?